Hello everyone, welcome to this lesson on Sheila. This is an interleaving lesson, which means it's revision. It's just a little pit stop in between all of the bits that you're doing on language writing papers at the minute. Like I said to you in the live part of the lesson, I don't want to keep you online for too long today, so let's get cracking. Today we're learning to recap the key points about Sheila so that we can easily recall this information in our exams. Now we do this every once in a while, this interleaving technique, because we know that it's excellent for remembering key pieces of information. I've shown you this slide before. We know what the forgetting curve is, and we know that each time we review a piece of information it gets a little bit harder to forget. So we interleave, we basically separate out some of the bits that we need to learn and we drop them in whenever we're studying new units so we can keep that information fresh in our minds. So here's where I want you to start today. If you can, I'd like you to print this Sheila tracker. I don't often ask you to print things, but today I'm keen for you to work offline. If you can't print it, don't worry, just have a copy of it open on the screen, but see if you can work on paper for most of the lesson. Each point about Sheila on this little tracker is numbered 1 to 10, so you're able to easily see how Sheila develops as the story pans out as the play progresses. The first thing I'd like you to do after you've watched the rest of this video is to take each of those 10 points and summarize it in a sentence of your own using no more than 30 words. So that's going to get you to produce a clear and concise summary of how Sheila's character develops and changes as the play goes on, and that'll be a really important and useful revision document for you to keep safe somewhere. And here's what your main task is for the lesson. So I want you to complete one of these below tasks and send me evidence that you've completed it at the end. Either take a photo of it or send me the document, however you want to complete your work. So option number 1 is a mind map that explores Sheila's relationship with each of the other characters in the play. Make sure your mind map uses quotes from the text, and if you don't have a copy of this to hand, you can find it on Google. Just Google Inspector Calls full text and you should be able to find a copy pretty easily. In that mind map, I want you to see if you can find or explore how she responds and how she reacts to each of the other characters. So that's her two parents, her fiance Gerald, her brother Eric, and the inspector himself. You could also include her relationship with Eva Smith on that as well, although remember Eva doesn't actually say anything to Sheila in the play, it's all reported from Sheila's point of view. Option number 2 is to imagine that you're J.B. Priestley. This is a little bit more of a creative task. I want you to imagine that you are him and write an article for a literary magazine in which you explain what your intentions were in creating the character of Sheila. So for those of you that struggle with AO2 skills in your literature essays, this might be a really useful exercise to complete. So why did J.B. Priestley create this character in the way that he did? Why does he select certain lines for her, certain words, and not for other characters? What do you think his intentions were in terms of the audience reaction to Sheila? So you could write all that down in almost as if it was an interview style article for a magazine. Or task number 3, use the Sheila tracker to write something a little bit more conventional, an essay style 3 paragraphs exploring how her character is presented at the beginning, before her confession, and then in the middle, during her confession, and at the end of the play. Like I said, you can use the tracker to help you out, and don't forget the 3 assessment objectives in literature that will help you there as well. AO1, which is your quotes and ideas related to the question. AO2 is the writer's methods and meanings, and AO3 is the context of the play. Don't forget that I want to see your work by the end of this lesson, at the very least by the end of today, whenever you are watching this, so that I can check that you've done some decent revision on this important character. Thank you. Have a good day.